What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. I'm joined by two men that have been fighting all week about what the top story on the podcast should be. One of them thinks we should talk about wearing sensible shoes at the National, and the other one thinks we should review the 1975 Topps baseball checklist card by card by card. But thankfully, I have creative control here, and I've decided that the top story this week is going to be Michael Rubin throwing a baseball. So there you have it. Of course, as always, I'm joined by these two, Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How you doing, boys?
I'm sorry I wanted to go through that set, Mike. I mean, it's such a great set. I'm doing great. I'll tell you what. So you sent us that clip of Rubin throwing the baseball, and it's hysterical. EP had some fun things to say about it. I will say this. There may or may not be video somewhere out there of me trying to kick a field goal
My God.
at the NCAA, the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, because they have this thing where you can go down and do some of the drills. I had a couple of drinks beforehand, so I'm like, yes, I'm going to do some of those drills. And yeah, there is a video somewhere. I'm not going to tell you who may or may not have it, but there is a video somewhere of me trying to kick a field goal. I hurt myself.
Mike,
that's
we
all.
need to find this. We need to figure out who has it.
How much do they need for that video? Is all I need to know. Who to send the money to and how much they need.
We'll start a GoFundMe. People will pay.
Yes,
People
definitely.
I need to actually give a shout out to Rob. Made the field goal.
Wow.
Made the field goal. Now,
Showed you up.
The football, he really did, until he threw the football. Then it really kind of went downhill, but he made that field goal, which was impressive. Wow. I have that video.
I'm sure Michael Rubin just didn't take time to warm up the old arm there. Like,
no, I mean,
slack there. Like, that guy, clearly the arm was tight. He didn't warm up.
Yeah.
So.
I never played Little League, but I feel like somebody along the way, obviously he's a very successful businessman, all sort of stuff, but somewhere along the way, like, he was let down by some mentor that he does not really know how to throw a baseball, right? Like that's
he doesn't know how to throw a baseball.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. He's done.
Do these people not practice when they're asked to throw a first pitch? Do they not think to themselves, I may have to throw a first pitch this week? I should probably take a couple practice throws. I don't know.
I think it's more the yips. Like, they probably do, but then when they're out there, it's totally the yips. Yeah. So,
right.
But yeah, there was Michael Rubin.
Poor Michael Rubin. I feel so bad for him.
We have no chance of getting a Topps deal now. Yep. Not like all the other influencers, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. So what's new, guys?
I have a lot of stuff at the top. EP, do you want to go first and kick it to me, or you just want
sure,
me to go
yeah.
Okay.
I just have just a couple things. Like, I'm gonna probably take $100 of card money to the National. I've decided that, but reveal that in extra innings. $100 is like the number. If I don't spend any of that, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with that. Like that, the $100 would cover. I'm going to go to set up at 2 card shows in August, and that money would cover those table fees. So, like, if I don't spend any of it, that's fine. That's I'll have that. But I'm going to take that along just because it is the National. And if I find a card or two, I might pick those up. And then the other thing is, I revealed my scavenger hunt and like the miscellaneous quests that I'm going to do. Where I'm going to have a lot of fun with the miscellaneous quests that I didn't reveal on the actual show. Just want to kind of like throw it out there. It's going to be. I look forward to doing some very, very fun stuff at the National. So
the good part is, like, we're going to have fun.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Right.
Like, the buying of anything is really way secondary to everything else we're going for. Right. So the cool thing is we can have a good time, and we're going to have a good time regardless of if any of us buy anything. The viewers will be disappointed because we won't be able to show them anything, but so I'll have to buy something. Just to
well, even the hunting for things, I think they would enjoy watching. And EP, don't forget, I'm setting up at that August show with you, so I'm paying half the table fees
Oh,
So
I thought you were just gonna. Wasn't gonna charge you table fees.
never
Okay.
mind. I'm not paying half the table fee. So
No
EP,
way.
make sure you have that money available. That doesn't count beer
Can
money.
I get
okay?
get in on this deal too?
No, you were just going to drop cards off and have us try and
Yeah,
sell them for you while you work the show. If I
Can I
remember
put my
correctly.
cards there and I'll sit down when I'm tired, but I'll walk around. But I just don't want to have to be there.
You'll watch the table when EP and I both get 30 seconds to go pee. I think that's right. Okay, boys, quick.
I think you could take turns. I don't really have to be there.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, Joe. What all do you have for us?
I got
What's
a lot of
going
stuff.
on in Joe world over
I got a lot of stuff. I'm going to save the big thing as the last announcement because that is big, boys. I think we can all agree.
Mhm.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I got into my first break, everyone.
Wow.
I got into my first break. So I talked about it. Was it last week on the podcast that some of the Marvel folks that I opened up some packs with, some boxes with on Marvel Madness MCU's channel. They had a character break. I bought Professor X for $30. Probably got like $10 to $15 worth of cards, but it was still really fun. There were some bangers that came out of that box too. I just didn't have the right characters. Gambit Jambalaya. There were some really low numbered medallions, some autographs. It was a really, really fun time. They might do it again. If they do, I'll let you guys know. But if you had Psylocke, she had like 2 or 3 low numbered medallions. It was crazy. It was a really, really fun rip. So that was a lot of fun. I don't think I'm going to do it again. It's not for I watched the whole thing and it was like 4 hours long. I'm like dozing off for Professor X of all people. But I did watch something. We talked about gambling, how breaking's kind of gambling.
Not kind of. It is.
I just kind of.
Yeah, not kinda.
I was watching our buddy Spidey Hits. Okay. He did a video of him breaking a case of a Marvel product. It wasn't, I think it was Marvel Platinum. I think I could be wrong, but it was one of the Chromium sets that just recently came out. Bought a case of it on ePack. $1,700. Now you want to talk about gambling. That was like watching someone on the slot machines at the casino. It was just so I could never do it, guys. I Mike, you've done ePack before.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Like a case though, that's so much to go through. And like, he's just like, it was like watching an old woman. No offense, Justin, we love you, but it was just watching an old woman in Atlantic City hitting the button, waiting for that big hit. And it just, that's the most gambling thing I've ever seen in the hobby.
It is a lot like a slot machine. I've thought that before too when I've been opening stuff. It gives you that same little rush of okay, what's it gonna be?
Yeah. Like, and you can't feel the cards, which I know is big for EP and I especially, but like you can't touch the cards. It's like, what in the world are we doing here? It's just, and some of the cards you can't even get physically, and it's just like
I think you get all of them. So you
there's some that you have to use a certain amount of them to get a physical card or something. There's some convoluted explanation about ePack that I don't understand. Comment below if you do, but it blew my mind. Next thing real quick, someone asked, we just posted a video of the recap of Fleer Ultra Wolverine on the channel Saturday night. Check that out. Couple of comments asking me how I did financially with it. I just wanted to give an update. I still have a couple of the bigger cards left, but I'd say negative $300 right now.
No, it's not bad.
But that's not including the cards I kept.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the Wolverine sketch would cover that. And then, I kept, a couple of the printing plate, one of the big autographs. So I was lucky that I was able to get my cards out first. That being said, I think the return on investment of most non-sports products has been pretty decent. So just wanted to give that update.
You're kind of at that point too, where like you've paid for one box and got everything really cool out of the one box.
Yeah.
And had the enjoyment of opening an entire case.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like That I think
and becoming a superstar on YouTube.
I mean that, right? Exactly. I just a rocket ship.
Yeah.
I will say the most fun I had opening up several boxes of cards was that live stream. I just had so much fun on that live stream. So that entertainment was definitely worthwhile. Something I didn't tell you boys though, David Adams gives you something for free when you buy cards, like a box over a certain amount. Well, I bought that box to rip. I ended up ripping it on Marvel Madness MCU's channel, and I got a pack of cards, and I was going to rip it right here, right now, live on Monday morning, because it is.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Top
for the audio, baby. Big League Baseball. Now, EP, this is from 2023. I don't know what I'm looking for. What am I looking for?
You're gonna find a handful of inserts. There's there are content creator cards, and there's also there are autos in there. Like some of the autos are kind of tough. If you get an auto, they can be tough to pull. So
okay, EP, you're in charge of telling me who these people are.
Okay, it's Jose Barrios.
Okay, who is he?
He's a pitcher for the Blue Jays.
Okay, $100 card or no?
No.
Okay,
10-cent card. Mike Yastrzemski, San Francisco Giants, 10-cent card.
Related to Carl?
I'm not sure. Probably.
Well,
it's not a very usual name. Oh, the hell my name is. That is one of the cooler insert sets, one of the more popular insert sets from that, and that is that Mookie Betts? Yeah, Betts. Yeah. Yep.
So that's one $100 card?
Nope. That's maybe a $1.99 card.
Okay. Oh, we have something shiny.
Yep, uncommon foil. I think you get one of those per pack. Giancarlo Stanton, a Yankee. Great. It's a $500 card.
Is it really?
No.
Oh,
it's probably a $199 card. Oh, you got an
auto,
dude.
Auto.
Look at that.
Wow.
I don't know that name. I don't know that name. Michael Togua. I'm not sure. Toglia. I'm not sure. But
is that on card too?
I think so. Yeah.
No, it's a sticker.
Sticker.
I'm just fucking with you. It's sticker. Of course it is.
Yeah. But hey, there you go, man.
Look at that, an auto. I just made my money back.
The thing is, like the autos are like they're kind of rarish. They don't put odds on the packs of how often you can pull the autos because they are kind of rarish. They're not.
Claim down below. $500. All right. Who else do we have here?
Tyler Anderson. He's a pitcher. That's a 10-cent card probably. Brady Singer probably 10-cent card, 50-cent card. I mean, they're Alex Verdugo, same. Yep. Yeah, these are all base cards. But anyhow, you got the hit of the box right there.
I got the box hit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to start opening up baseball cards now.
I feel like maybe the autos are like one every 3 boxes or something like that. So I mean,
really?
I feel like so that's
what
still
it was?
that card is still only like 10 $20 probably at the most. But.
Influencer pack.
Yeah,
that's what it was. They sent me an influencer.
They knew
you told them you were going to open it on YouTube, and they
big shout out to David Adams for sending me the influencer pack.
They used a CT scanner and were able to see
yes, they
that
did.
Has an auto on it, and it's like okay,
which we talked about way before all these other people.
Before the guru broke news with it. So that was fun. EP, you get all of those cards except for the auto. I need to send that off to PSA. So last couple of things real quick. So have you guys ever had this happen to you where someone sends you an offer on eBay you're the seller, they're the buyer, they send you an offer. So say you have a $20 card, they offer you 15. You hit accept, but it doesn't go through.
Yes. I know where you're going with it, but go ahead. Yeah.
And so I looked at that. I'm like, why didn't I get a notification that said your card sold? Apparently, until it sells, eBay is saying it's good for the seller because now someone can still come in and buy it if the other person isn't going to buy it right away. Someone else can come in and buy it for full price or send you a better offer. Well, what's the point? Like so someone actually just didn't pay for 2 cards and there's no recourse anyway, but there were 2 cards just kind of hanging out there in this purgatory. I don't like this. I don't think I like this at all. What are your EP? You had this happen?
I thought you were going to say like with mine, what happened was they like made the offer, but then they withdrew the offer in the amount of time that I was going. Like, so I went and I clicked on the thing or whatever. So like, why this doesn't like? Why is it not working for me? I was just trying to accept.
They withdrew the offer.
And
No,
so they
this
withdrew
is
the offer like in the like a few seconds in between when they
this
sent it
one
out.
still keeps it listed, but if you look at the manage offers,
Right.
it said
it-
pending payment.
Yeah, is it auto pay? Do you have that set up for auto payment? Because they don't charge the card like the second you hit accept. They do it like an
But you
hour
usually get a
later or something?
notification. Usually
But
get a
it didn't.
notification that this card sold. It's happened to me like 3 or 4 times now, and apparently it's a thing. It's like a thing that's being beta tested.
Hmm.
So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I don't know. Comment below if you've had this happen to you as well, if you've sold something on eBay. But it's happened on 2 cards recently, and then happened one time before. But like, yeah, as soon as I hit accept on most 99.9% of the stuff, it gives you the eBay notification. Hey, your card's sold. Wait until they pay. Yada yada yada. This didn't send me any notification. I looked, and yep, still pending payment. But apparently, someone else could have came in and bought that card. I ended up.
I think they just you don't have automatic payment set up, so it's waiting for them to pay for it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but
Must
people
be.
can still come in and buy the card at full price before it's paid for.
That's
So
wow, because I've never had
sent
that
out
happen.
not too long ago. I remember, I don't know if it was an email they sent out or something, but I did see that they explained that if in the time it takes to pay, if somebody buys it, that you could still lose out. Like the seller will take your offer, but yeah, I mean, it's weird though that you're not getting it for every sale.
Right.
So that's
Like I'm not even getting the this card sold notification, like, which is weird because even if it's a card that they have to go in and pay for later, I still get that notification from eBay. So it's like waiting on payment. And
I think I remember seeing it when I sent an offer. It had it then. So I don't, but I don't know in your case why it's only on random ones here and there.
I think they require immediate payment thing is a little bit glitchy, maybe. Like I'm not sure 100% because I know I use Card Dealer Pro to list my cards, and every once in a while I'll get a little blue exclamation mark on some of the listings that says, if this card sells, you won't be able to require immediate payment. But then there'll be other listings in that same thing that don't have the blue thing, the blue.
And I don't.
Circle, so I'm not sure what. I have no idea what it is they can do to fix it.
I don't mind not getting the immediate payment right away. What annoys me is like not even getting notification from eBay that the card is sold and the card is still out there in the world that someone could come and buy it. So that's the last thing I was going to say to you guys is, are we going to do a channel fantasy football league? We should talk about this. We're starting to get into it. Comment below if you would be interested into a channel fantasy football league. Because I only have like 25 leagues this year. I'm missing that
cut back a little bit.
One. Yeah, I did cut back a little bit. So I'm curious. Comment below if you would be potentially interested in doing a channel fantasy football league. But other than that, just the big announcement.
Okay. Well, you did a pretty big interview this past week.
I did. It was
tell the viewers a little bit about it.
So I got to interview the founder and president of Rittenhouse Cards, Steve Cherndorf, and it was one of the most fun things I've done since we started this silly little thing that we do every week. It just the stories that he was telling about his time with Fleer before he started Rittenhouse, the stories of the actors he's worked with and the sets he's put together. I had just so much fun with it. You guys were watching backstage. You were messaging me on the private chat. Oh my God, that's such a great analogy. Oh, that's such a great story. Just real knowledgeable guy. We're probably gonna, Mike, release it after the National. So when we get back from that,
probably not this week, but probably next week.
So keep an eye out on the channel for this one.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know, and we're gonna try and work with Rittenhouse for some additional content down the road. So keep an eye out for that. But just a really, really fun time. Maybe he broke a little bit of news too. I don't know. It felt like breaking news to me.
It did.
He was
But
very open.
Yes.
with his answer.
he was very, very
loved it,
open.
yeah.
And to the point where I was like messaging him afterwards, being like, are we cool to post this? Are we,
Mhm.
you know, and he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we need to get him a shirt though, Mike. He wears an extra large. So we're going to have to order him
Okay.
a Mike's Retro Trading Card shirt and get it shipped off to him in Philadelphia. But yeah, just really, really fun time. Guys, definitely when that gets posted, we'll tell you, go watch it, share it, tell a friend, because it was really, really fun.
Yeah. He was very passionate, very like super knowledgeable.
Super passionate. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, EP.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into it. Joe, no beer this week? What's up?
No, here's the thing. I haven't drank since Beer Fest. I'm trying to keep the liver clean until the national. As long as there is nothing this week that's so over the top ridiculous that sets me off, I think I'll be fine. I'm trying to go more zen this
safe.
week. You know, I don't think anything's going to get me going.
So. We don't really have anything too deep or controversial this week.
Just coffee and water for me, so I'll be good.
But let's get into it. The big news. I'm not sure if you guys heard. I'm not sure how you didn't, if you didn't. But PSA is going to start grading comic books in 2025. They're using the traditional grading scale, which is kind of interesting that they're using the one that's been established there. They're not going to have a pop report to start. It's going to take some time. So we love Dustin and his content, but he got that a little bit wrong in his why CGC needs to be worried about PSA video that he put out. The big news that came out of this that, sports card people love PSA, right? And they just automatically assume that PSA, they'll just carry over into any market they get into. But one of the things they announced were they're going to do pressing of the comic books.
Industry standard, right?
Yeah. But, because card people are card people and card content people are card content people, they're, of course, making this out to be, they're such hypocrites because they don't allow this in cards, yet they're going to be pressing for comic books. I don't know who wants to give their thoughts first. We are not comic book experts here. I want to let that be known. No questions at all. We are card people talking about comics. So we are not going to act like we know everything that's going on in the comic book market. Although, Joe, I think you've spoken to some people that are comic book collectors, because I feel like if you don't really know what you're talking about, maybe you should at least talk to people that do first.
Yeah, I will say this. Just because someone opened up a box of Marvel cards 4 years ago and put "and comics" at the end of their YouTube username does not mean they're experts on comics. So maybe, I don't know, reach out to people who do content specifically about comic books and ask them their thoughts on this. I did that. And because, again, just because I have comic books behind me does not mean we should call this Mike's Retro Trading Cards and Comics. That'd be stupid. Just because I buy comics from time to time does not mean I'm an expert. So first off, the CGC or the industry standard thing that PSA, we're following the industry standard. I wish I could remember who created that industry standard. It's crazy why I can't
time with all those.
With all that, I think PSA must too, because they couldn't say, we're going to follow CGC's lead on grading comic books. The clean and pressing thing, please just fucking stop. It's not the same thing. It's not. PSA is not taking your comic books and putting them in a solution with God only knows what kind of chemicals that are in that and letting them soak for hours. Cleaning and pressing is not that. Stop saying it is. I've talked to comic book people a lot and they say, wait, what do you do with cards? What's this thing where you soak them in chemicals for hours? It's stupid. Stop saying it. It's different. Please. You're making yourself look bad. So, worse. Fuck it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on. I had
We
one
knew it.
breaking
We knew
breaking
it.
case of emergency. Hold on. So much better.
There
Okay,
you
where
go.
was I?
Okay, now he's ready.
Okay, I'm back. All right. So I did speak to Improve Collecting, Jim over there, who submits all his own comic books, cleans and presses his own comic books. I talked to Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. Really, really knowledgeable people about comic books. Lawrence did a whole live stream, so go check it out. It's like 90 minutes long. It's really, really interesting. A lot of comments. But the big takeaway, and I'll kick it to you guys, and I'll splice some of the other things they said in, but the big takeaway is they're just happy with the competition.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
right now, CGC is the PSA of comic books. That's another thing that card people who think PSA is just going to come in and eat, they're not. CGC is you. Like they're the ones who
Yeah.
have even a bigger market share of the comic books than their number two. Like PSA and CGC and cards are kind of like this. CGC and CGC and BCBS are like this. Like
Mhm.
it's not even close. So what Jim over at Improved Comics said is he goes, I think this is just the death knell for CBCS and for PGX, I believe, is the third grader. Like those are the ones that have to worry because PSA is going to come in and take that. And guess what they both said as well? It's all about the resale value. Just
Mhm.
like card people say
Yeah.
about PSA. Why don't you use it? Because of the resale value. It's the same thing here. CGC has been doing this so long. They are the industry standard. They're not going anywhere because it's all about the resale value. Comic book collectors very rarely know what PSA even is.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's what
just how it
card
is.
collectors don't realize that. And again, just like everybody has PSA cards in their collection. That's why they're worth so much. They want to buy them. That's how it is in comics with CGC. Like you have huge collections of comic books, and you have the pop reports, and you have the set registry and stuff like that. But those people have all this CGC stuff. They're not going to go, oh, PSA, they're great in the card market. We're going to use them now. And one of the comments I saw a lot were that comic book collectors are going to hate that label. I saw they don't like the
Watch
red.
Lawrence's live stream.
I saw many comments on sports card comic people that commented on the sports card content creator videos saying comic book collectors aren't going to like that label. There's not much to it. They don't put really much information on it by looking at the example. And the red, apparently they don't like red. I don't know.
Before you go, EP, let me comment on that red thing. What was CGC's label that they went away from? It was red. CGC had a red label a long time ago, and they don't use it anymore. If you look at old CGC slabs, they had a red label. I don't know why people think that red is like we're not bulls, are we? Like like we're drawn to red. It just the label is the PSA label. It is what it is, and it's fine. But the comic book collectors like something different. They like something like this. And guess what else PSA is probably not going to do? Custom labels. They're probably not going to do those. And CGC wouldn't have them available if people didn't love to put Venom on their Venom comic books, right? So, yeah, there are a lot of complaints about the label and some about the slab I'll talk about later. Sorry, EP. I was getting angsty again.
Yeah, it's all right. A couple things. First off, so you're saying the red and the PSA is gonna trigger some trauma for some people that
maybe
old school collectors who hated it back then, and all of a sudden they see the red again.
Yeah.
Now, to the original point, talking about collectors, like card collectors, like of course they're doing this, right? Of course they're saying, oh, this is just like card care, because as we've shown, like 50% of the hobby are okay with cards that are clean because
they want it to be that way.
They want it to be that. Yeah. So they're gonna like, oh, look at this. Like they're going to like push that, which is very gross. One of the things that I want to see, and kind of hitting on what you talked about, Joe, like it'll be interesting to see how PSA, like how much of PSA's their like stance in the hobby, like, or their standing in the hobby, like their name, their brand, like how far that pushes them up. I bet like they wouldn't be surprised at all if they're second, right? They probably won't surpass CGC, like you said, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are number 2 with a bullet right away, just because of their what everybody thinks about them, right?
Yeah, because Beckett right now, CBCS has, I mean, their market share is so low in the hobby. Beckett is like it's like the Beckett in cards, or even the SGC in cards, where, oh, I got a 9.6 on this CBCS. Maybe I can crack it and submit it to CGC,
right.
And people do that in comic books too. It's not unusual. So the other thing, are you going to talk about the slab specifically, Mike, the actual physical slab? So apparently a lot of comic book folks are upset because there's not an inner well. It's just the comic book that is touching the hard plastic, like the front and back covers are just touching the hard plastic. With the CGC comics, there is like it's almost like a Beckett card slab. There's like this inner sleeve. So all of the CGC comic book slabs are the same size, because these Silver Surfers, for example, are double issues. They're thicker. It's the inner well that makes them stay in place and not like rub around. Like if you go like this, it may move, but it's going to move the inner sleeve. It's not moving the comic book. So is some concern about that. The other rant that I'm going to try not to rant too long about is the fact that a card content creator who puts in comics, I'll just say it, Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics, he said that, I've known about this news for a while now, and I'm glad I can talk about it now. I talked to some of the comic book folks. They had no clue this was coming. Does not bode well in my mind for PSA. If they're reaching out to someone like Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics, and not to someone like Jim over at Improved Collecting, who, sure, he does not have the following that Neo has, but he has like 5, 6, 7,000 subscribers. Lawrence has quite a bit of subscribers too. If you're not reaching out to people who submit a lot of comic books, like 10, 12 comic books a week to CGC to get their opinions on things, I think you're not starting off too well, in my opinion. You should be reaching out to those people. And I even asked, have you heard anyone that has talked to PSA or PSA has talked to about this in the comic book world? And at that point, they hadn't. They said that 9.9 Newsstand, who is like a big comic book content creator, he might have held the slab. That was like the extent of it. And so it's like not reaching out to those people, at least from what I've seen anyway, I think is a disservice to comic book collectors, and you're kind of appeasing card collectors who might also do comic books. That's what it felt like to me anyway.
Have we seen the label? Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it's just like a PSA card label.
Okay, it is. So I feel like if this seems like something PSA would do, like, because they're the industry leader, they know what they're doing. They don't need to take any cues from anybody else. But the bottom line is, like you were saying, like you look at the labels behind you there, and there's way more information on those than just the name of the book and the score, right? On the labels behind you, so I feel like that is like, if they had reached out and like looked at these other things, like they would know that is what the comic collectors really want. That that is a very nearsighted on their part to not reach out to
some of the information will be on there, like whether it's a newsstand, first appearances, things like that. It will be on there, but it's more just the look of it. It's very, PSA is kind of known for that small print and, getting like jam, like almost not using the whole label, like just jamming it into a small bit of space. Comic book collectors don't like that. That's not their jam. So, if you're not going to give them what they want, or even ask some comic book collectors what they might want, like PSA is, hey, it's open season, you can come tell us your opinions. In my opinion, they should have been more proactive in asking actual comic book people, what do you think of this? Now, I don't know if they didn't want to like tip off CGC what they were doing, but come on, CGC had to kind of know this was coming, right? It's like, I doubt anyone over there was like, oh my God, what? They're doing what? I predicted this, 3 months ago at this point?
Yeah.
Like, if I predicted it 3 months ago, it doesn't take a flashlight and a compass to figure out what PSA might get into next, right? So I don't know.
I don't think PSA reached out. Maybe he was just watching our show and heard you say that.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, anybody who watched the Ryan Hogue interview with Jeff Wilson, that's probably why card people knew it, because he mentioned how they were getting into something new. And, we had talked about it, like EP and I didn't really know at first, but you said comics and we were like, oh, yeah.
Makes 100% sense.
So, I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people that saw that interview. That's probably why the comic people didn't know. They don't watch Jeff Wilson. Why would they? So, again, this is my point. Comic books are a completely different, set of collectibles than cards. They do things. The pressing is accepted in the comic world. Altering cards isn't accepted in ours. So they're different. Just like if you're redoing a car, you can do stuff like that it's okay, but like cards is not okay. So that may change down the road, but just don't talk about the comic book industry in your videos and use your card knowledge and think that everything about their collectible applies because it does in yours. That's very narcissistic and just realize a totally different thing. So don't talk about it like what you're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about,
right.
But we go to some people that know a little more about it that can tell us and explain to us what's going on here.
And I am more than willing to give 100% credit to them. Go watch their videos. Go watch Improved Collecting. Go watch Mighty Cards and Comics, or Mighty Comics and Collectibles. Jesus. Go watch those folks. But to your point just now, Mike, about the narcissism of it all, we talked about this. I was in Atlanta, I remember, and we were recording a show, and there were just some hobby ethic questions or something. I forget the Wednesday show, but it was basically, the question was, do you think card collectors are a little narcissistic, or whatever word you use, EP, calling it the hobby? This is such a prime example of that, isn't it? Oh, our industry leader in our hobby is going over to your hobby, which means your hobby's new industry leader was our industry leader. Like PSA, they're coming in, they're taking over, guys. No, you narcissist. That is not how it works. They're gonna, but I'm gonna give them props. PSA could be like, we talked about this with Walmart getting to the eBay space, right? Or I mentioned Amazon could do something like that, because they're big companies that for a short period of time are willing to take a loss. I wouldn't be surprised if PSA went in there and had just ridiculous deals, had absolutely ridiculous deals.
They're going to have to, yeah.
And they start eating up market share because they're a smart company, regardless of, anything we say here. They're a really smart company. So they're not going to get into something that they don't know they're going to do well in. And they'll be willing to take a loss because they financially can, and they'll eat into market share, and they will be competition, which I would be a hypocrite if I didn't like that, because I complain about the lack of competition in the manufacturing space. So of course I want to see competition. And so do the comic book folks. They wanted Beckett to step up, and Beckett couldn't. Shocker. I know. Beckett couldn't step up in the comic book world. So, competition is good. It's going to put these guys on their toes. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what
we're not saying that PSA is dumb for getting into the comic book market. They're very
not
smart.
At all.
They know they're going to get a certain segment of market share. They probably know they don't have to be number one to make it profitable. They're a business that they're getting into other areas, and every little bit adds to the value of collectors itself. So, it's different. I've seen people saying, oh, PSA has upscaled their business so much that they can handle. That's cards. Again, understand they don't have these graders for comics. Same guy is not going to be looking at a Wolverine card and looking at the comic book.
You hope. Yeah, that's a good point, Heafy.
Like, you hope PSA, we can do cards, we can do comics. Like, you hope that they're not having the same thought, right? Like,
I'm sure they know they can be profitable, and that the number 2 position is ripe for the picking there, and they can probably take Beckett's share of the market and gain a little bit more and be very profitable. They don't have to be number one, and just don't assume they're going to be number one because they're number one in cards. All I'm asking.
And by the way, it'll be really interesting for some of these and comics YouTube channels. It'll be interesting to see if they don't see the market bear out PSA's market and cards in the comic book space, if they're willing to buy a PSA slab. You know what I mean? Because they don't submit comics. If they're just going to buy a slab, I'm curious if they're okay with the potential lack of resale value at the beginning of a PSA slab. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. The one point too that PSA did mention they were doing was graders notes on every submission. Number one, wow, what a kick in the balls to card collectors, huh?
Yeah.
And number two, so what are you going to tell me about a 9.8 that I need to know? You know what I mean? Like, I doubt it's really on every submission. It's probably there's probably an asterisk there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, CGC does that too. Like, again, it's PSA doing PSA things. We're gonna give you graders notes. Oh, we get graders notes.
Really good ones too, from what I've seen comic people saying. That
they do. They absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do have one other question, Joe. Like, what does it cost to get a comic graded, and could PSA like institute some sort of upcharge type situation like they do for cards?
I mean,
is that something that?
So it ranges, and they do. CGC does declared value with comic book submissions. So like, very similar to PSA, and for the life of me, I don't know if CGC upcharges. I don't believe they do, unless you're sending in like a ASM 15 and you send it in at the lowest tier or something like that, and then they're like, whoa, wait a minute, this should be the highest tier. Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure if like, oh, well, it was a 7.5 and you sent it in, or you thought it'd be a 7.5 and it's like an 8.5. Now we have to charge you more. Again, I'm not going to pretend like some other people that I know that answer. So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. That being said, PSA is absolutely going to have an upcharge system, right? Like, come on. Like, they upcharge everything else. There's no way they're not going to do an upcharge system in comic books. So, because that helps fund the guarantee, remember?
Yeah. Well, I think they might have difficulty getting that to work in the comic market. But okay, we got to move on because we're talking about comics way too long here. We got other
we're
stuff
changing the name of the channel to And Comics, Mike. Come on.
Just trading comics or something. Yeah, Topps got themselves in a little bit of hot water with collectors this week. The new Topps Chrome Baseball came out, and on social media, they have been showing pictures of autographs of Ken Griffey Jr., autographs of Ichiro, of what was the other one? Sandy Koufax, Superfractor with the auto on it and stuff. And people were really excited. I saw people showing, oh, I got my hobby box here. I'm hoping to get my Ken Griffey Jr. autograph. Only problem is the autograph of the retired players are only in the Breakers Delight product. Now, you could scroll around YouTube. I looked at some of the bigger channels and looked at their content. Nobody's talking about this because, if you talk badly about Topps and the kind of crap they're pulling about stuff, they won't give you money or give you product, and
or put you on a card.
I was going to say that before you jumped in, but yeah, put you on a card. So, that's clearly why some people on this panel won't talk badly about Topps. So they can still get their card made. But like, this is a really crappy thing to do. There was on Twitter, somebody did a thread of all the different from the official Topps account, who is run by the guy that used to run the Collectibles Guru guy. He's now runs the Topps account. So yeah, he's slimy to begin with, and they have him doing this. So doing slimy things. Shocking. But yeah, a thread, and there were like 4 or 5 different posts that mentioned autographs and showed pictures of cards, did not say those are only available in Breakers Delight. Let's not even get into why are they only making this available for the Breakers Delight product? We know why, to keep the breakers happy. Okay, that's done. But this is really, really crappy to the point where our buddy EP down there even looked up on the pre-sale sheet for Topps Chrome and said, well, look, it says on here they're only in Breaker's Delight. He was trying to find a way to defend Topps.
Oh no, not that necessarily,
But there's no way
to it.
Because it's their social media that is doing it and the marketing they're using, and they are tricking people into buying product thinking they can get something they can't get. That is the bottom line here. Whether you like Topps or whether you don't like Topps, this situation is crummy on their behalf. You can't do that stuff, and they know better, and they know what they're doing. Rant over. EP, give us your thoughts.
I disagree. I disagree with the thought that they know they're doing it. I just think that the marketing people just don't know what they're doing.
No,
I think that's more likely.
There is no way that you know that the Ken Griffey Jr. is only in a Breaker's Delight, and you're making multiple posts showing pictures of that card, talking about Topps hobby boxes being released on the website, and never mentioning that you can't get this card in these types of product that the normal collector would get. You are clearly like doing that on purpose.
Okay.
I don't see any, like, you would have to be really dumb and really bad at your job and not know anything. I am collectibles guru guy.
I mean,
I think I just might have helped your case there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
normal
you're making
department,
EP's point.
You think about, and like the people, again, we're not 100% sure if that's who it is, but you think of like a lot of them probably there are probably people running a lot of the accounts for these things that are, running Twitter accounts that know nothing about cards. They're just told, hey, we need to create this sell piece thing for this thing, and they know Ken Griffey Jr. is like, oh well, this is in this product, and so I can't say 100%.
Well, then that would put it on Topps, the company. They need to make sure their marketing people have the right information and are getting that information out to people in the proper way. So
I saw one of the posts where they had an Ichiro card, and then the whole list of all the different ones. And the first comment was, "Are these only available in the Breaker's Delight?"
Yeah, and it doesn't say.
Topps responds and says, "Yeah, these are only available in the Breaker's Delight." But it took until.
But it's not in the post that if you're scrolling through Twitter, you see that with everybody listed. Yeah, that was
you should. I mean, that should have been in there. But I would I put that on the marketing more so. I don't think they're out there.
Buck has to stop somewhere.
Trying. What's that?
The Buck has to stop somewhere.
I'm not saying
multiple times.
I don't. I just think they're. I think they're not. They're just. I think it was a mistake on the marketing. I don't think
it's not a mistake. There is no way that is a mistake to do it over and over and over and over again. Like, come on.
Okay.
Did they?
There's no
after
not even you can believe that.
After it was,
they're not putting you on a card.
So. I do believe it was a mistake. So.
First off, if EP gets put on a card, that would be phenomenal. Secondly, so it comes down to, I think I said this last week, like, you're either a scammer or you're stupid. And I don't know which one's worse. But when that person asked the question and they said, oh, no, it's only in Breaker's Delight, did they have like a big social media post that said this is only in Breaker's Delight?
Let me cut in here because I want to say that I don't know when Topps finally said that, but I saw a number of these posts that I looked at the comments with everybody saying that, and there was no response for Topps. So they obviously eventually got around to answering that, but that was not done quickly and was not done early on in the process, because I read through hundreds of comments on one and there was no response from them. But go ahead.
By the way, I'm really enjoying this for a couple of reasons, but the first one is Mike and I are usually the two that fight back and forth like this. So it's nice to get a break.
You two do too about Topps.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I might be the thread here. But what I will also say is, Michael, thank you for coming over to Thank you for coming over to the light side. You were a big Fanatics fanboy.
The light side.
Yeah. Okay. You were a big Fanatics fanboy for the longest time. And I am really glad.
I used to wear the shirt.
You used to wear the shirt and everything. I am so glad. Did you burn that shirt?
Is it gone now?
In effigy. In effigy. You burned it. So yes, I'm glad you're coming over with me. I appreciate that. I think I've changed the hearts and minds here on the channel, and I'm a big fan of that. Getting back to the actual thing though, yeah, people don't read sell sheets, right? Like, so I don't really
Well, I
care
mean,
what's they should. I'm not
they
saying they
yeah.
shouldn't, but it's also the big companies' responsibility to make sure people who don't read the sell sheets are educated. I think there was some malice of forethought here. I think they were putting this out there so people got confused. It would not shock me, considering how much money they'll probably stand to gain by people buying hobby, and also then finding out, oh, you can only get these in breaks. Oh, now I'm going to have to buy into breaks. I don't know. Like, it reminds me a little bit of when people post something on eBay, like 2000 Tops football, Tom Brady rookie. Well, he's not in 2000 Tops football. But if you read in the description, it says, "Oh, Tom Brady it's just his rookie year." Like you're misleading someone. You're trying actively to mislead someone. And Tops, come on, just be better. And EP, if it is the marketing people, then someone should get their ass fired for it. If they're
100%.
stupid, if they're just being stupid about it. But how many times are we letting them be stupid before it's like, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe it's not stupidity, maybe it is intentional. Like, how many times can they post, look at this awesome autograph you could pull? Yeah, you could pull it if you buy into a break.
This is literally no different than the PSA vending machine with the picture of the PSA 10 first edition Charizard on it. To imply to you that you can get this out of it. This is even worse too, because they gave a list of autographed retired players in the product without properly explaining which version. If they were in everything, that's fine, but you're making that list up and you're not telling people, oh, it's only in the one that we sell to breakers though. Like, you collectors, like, you don't get these cool cards in a hobby box, which, come on.
I mean, that part has to upset you, EP, that you don't have a chance to get that perfect Griffey.
No, I mean,
what you're looking for.
Definitely should not do that. But again, it's on the sell sheet. I can buy one of the. I can buy one of the Breakers Delights if I want. I wouldn't, because it's only like
they're
like
easy
20
to
cards
get
in or whatever. So
get as the hobby box though. So
was that?
They're not as easy for people to get. They're not as available.
Right,
as
they're
a
sold
hobby
out. Right.
box, so.
Yeah, sure. But I mean,
you know why they're sold out? Because there's all those cool cards in them, and
right.
Nothing's in the hobby boxes apparently.
Yeah, I went back and checked that post just to see. The original post was 4 days ago. The response saying that they were only the Breakers Delight was 2 days ago, and then they responded to somebody's reply 2 days ago, and then later down there was another, like 2 days later. Then they actually had a reply to the actual post.
As soon as someone comments, you need to
so you fire that person and then get somebody else on it,
and fire probably who's ever above that person who said, hey,
probably.
We should probably
and hire him, because nobody's going to do better PR for Tops than that guy right down there. He does it for free. I can't imagine what he would do if he got paid for it.
I feel like they have nothing to gain by doing that on purpose. So
selling hobby boxes,
they're still going to sell
nothing to gain
of those cards anyway. They have nothing to gain by doing that. They have everything to lose, nothing to gain.
Spoken like somebody who does not know business. I'm just saying that there's a lot to gain.
You think they weren't going to sell those cards anyway?
They're going to sell them faster by making people think that there's stuff in there that isn't in there. Like, that really is pretty basic. I don't know. I do appreciate your love of Tops and the way you will defend everything that they do. But we're going to move on from this, and then we're going to give Joe a chance to talk to you about that a little later. In other news, PWCC is now Fanatics Collect. I know both of you guys are big PWCC users, so this is huge in your life. But we knew this was coming. Obviously, they weren't going to keep using the PWCC name. Some interesting little tidbits, though. They are looking to eventually integrate the Fanatics Live platform with the PWCC. Shouldn't be a surprise. You'll be able to buy a card and a break, probably Tops Chrome Breakers Delight, and get your Griffey auto, and then you can send that right to PWCC. From there, you could send it to PSA if you want, because they also announced that they're have a partnership deal with PSA. So Fanatics Collect, you have it pretty much like ComC. They have to be sent to Fanatics Collect, then sent to PSA, and PSA will send them back to Fanatics Collect. You can't just do your own order and have them sent there, at least at this point in time, which is kind of interesting because of PSA owning a vault and eBay. So this is all convoluted.
We own a vault, I think. I'm not 100%.
Everybody has vault nowadays.
Is there just one really big vault and they all use the
They just all use just one big warehouse vault, and everyone just,
hey, let's tell everybody we have our own.
Yeah. Is that which Indiana Jones movie is that where the guys wheeling
Lost Ark?
Is that Lost Ark? Yeah.
They're going to be charging 6% fee on cards under $120, which I thought maybe you might be interested in, EP. One other cool thing that came out of it is they're going to have CGC grading on site. Now, I know sports card people don't use that, but a lot of Pokemon people and non-sports still use that. So they'll actually have graders there to look at the cards there and grade them, which is very interesting.
Embedded in.
Yeah.
It's
like having a Starbucks in a Target, you know?
Or a Barnes and Noble.
Just makes sense.
or anything.
Yeah. Well, you can tell the difference between where we shop, because I go to Target.
No, I went there. It's a long story why I was in a Barnes and Noble, but I went right to the magazines and then right to the Starbucks. So
okay. You got your fantasy football index
and I looked. Yes, I did, and I looked.
That's
at
a
the
good
toys.
day.
I looked at the toys because I always look at the toys.
One other thing, Joe, you might be interested in. They're also going to allow trading, like peer-to-peer trading on the site. They'll obviously probably be charging you a little bit for it, but I mean, to know that, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they're really, other than having a grading company, the whole vision of Michael Rubin that we talked about in episode 1.
Let me get my beer.
Get your beer. Is really falling into place. They have pretty much everything there now. Interesting.
And they have embedded graders. So how far away really are they?
Do they ever have PSA embedded graders? Because that's the big news out of this, is the partnership with them. Clearly, I'm starting to feel like they're not going to do the grading thing. Maybe they realize, people like PSA, why should we bother with this, at least for now? Or maybe they'll buy PSA. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, they're, again, working with PSA working with everybody too. So
maybe they have enough of a monopoly that they're worried that if they do one more thing, it's going to be too much.
Say the M word.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness gracious, sir.
He's just
Mike
trying
will
to get
lose it. Mike will lose it.
I am not going to let him press my buttons.
Oh man, that's bait. That's bait.
It is.
Not falling for it. Not falling for it. But yeah, what about the 6% fee though? Like, I'm actually thinking,
that's
you know what?
eBay, right?
Maybe I should try this. We have a PSA order coming back. I don't know if the grades are good enough to actually be able to sell the cards. I haven't looked at them yet. No, I haven't. So I didn't get around to doing it. So that'll be a totally blind reveal coming up. But yeah, I'm thinking about maybe trying that, see if they sell. Jeff Wilson has sold almost $1 million in cards on the Fanatics Collect PWCC. He made sure to put that information out there while he was interviewing. I'm sorry, I don't remember the guy's name that runs Fanatics Collect, but yeah.
And he probably
I got to catch up.
I guess he sold $1 million, probably made negative 100,000 in value or in profit.
We don't know. He didn't talk about profit.
He didn't talk about profit. He
never talks about profit.
Real easy to talk about.
Talks about revenue. Yeah.
Right. Because I'm guessing he didn't make any money on those Desmond Ritters. No, and it's one of my favorite breakers. I don't break. I just watch. But
you do break now.
Damn it,
official.
I do.
Yeah.
Officially into breaking.
Card carrying breaker.
Yeah, exactly. No, so it's Dynasty Breaks. They have like 10,000 or so subscribers on YouTube, and they are like a partner. You can send them cards, and they'll send them to Fanatics, and you get you could get more than 100% of the sale price because of the whole buyer's premium and stuff like that. I'm guessing you might get a taste of that. I don't know. I was very confused by that, but a lot of people are, I don't want to use, I'll use it, shilling for Fanatics a little bit. They're really, yeah, I know. I know.
Never
Because
heard of anybody doing that.
because all these people, EP excluded because he's not breaking anytime soon, but all these people know where their bread's going to be buttered here in about a year, right? Like they know they have to kiss the ring.
Maybe they'll put like all the good stuff in the product just for the breaker.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a delight if they did that, right? See what I did there?
I do.
But the one thing I did notice when you said PWCC is officially going over, I'm actually watching a card, not to purchase it, but I'm watching a card on what was PWCC, and in the middle of the auction, it switched over to Fanatics, and I'm wondering how will that affect sales? Like this would be the worst week to have put your card, in my opinion, on PW. It'll either go through the roof, or maybe I don't know.
A lot of publicity about that.
Why is this link not working? No, it actually still works if you click on PWCC. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if you EP decide to send any of these cards. I have a group submitter I could reach out to, dynastybreaksllc@gmail.com.
That's the fee is 6% fee. I think eBay is like 13%, and so I mean that's more. Very yeah. I mean so I feel like that is very that would encourage a lot of people to do it, and so I would have to definitely think about it for sure. But then also to talk about we were talking about the peer-to-peer trading or whatever. That feels to me like the kind of thing where maybe they would. There's no fee until the card gets either shipped away or sold. Like you can trade back and forth, but there's no fee involved with it until one of the cards.
Maybe if you take it away from the
vault, right. As long as it's in the vault, it's trade back and forth. Like nobody has to do anything with it. They just have to change the account where that card is attached to. So I could see maybe that would. And there are a lot of people that would probably like to do that. Like that's one of the the appeals to the vaults for a lot of people. So.
You said no one has to do anything with it, which kind of made me laugh. No one at eBay has to do anything with shipping, but I still get charged a 13% fee for shipping costs. So, I mean, there probably would be some minimal fee for the person-to-person, within the vault. But I think, you're right, EP. At a certain point, you'll probably get charged tax and additional fees if you then take it out of the vault, would be my guess.
Right. Okay, well, the big news of the week, we're probably going to have to set aside like a half hour or an hour on this one. HGA is no longer taking submissions.
Pour one out, EP. Get your beer.
What?
Pour it on my laptop.
They sent me an email like on Friday or something that said last chance to get grade 4, get one free or something like that.
They are no longer taking them while they restructure. So, yeah.
God
pour one out for HGA. Those lotteries back in 2021.
Man, wasn't that a time? Guys, wasn't that a time to be alive?
It was also only 3 years ago, but how long ago does that
feel? Like 20 years ago. Oh.
Comment below if you've ever won one of those lotteries and were excited about it, because I remember the three of us. I mean, we all were like, "Holy shit, I got in! I got in!" It was.
I had Tom Brady press pass rookies graded by HGA, so good times. Oh, so Topps is finally releasing a football product. Not NFL license yet, but the 2023. What month is it, Joe? July 2020. What year are we in? I'm confused. If you're a card collector and you know what year you're in, you're doing well, because I can't keep it straight.
They're still writing 2023 on their checks over there at Fanatics, I think, and Panini, to be fair.
But Topps has released 2023 Topps Composite Football, which combines Topps Chrome, Cosmic Chrome, Topps Midnight, and Topps Finest all in one product, like the old Topps Fusion that nobody remembers. That was a really cool product in 2001, I believe. They were selling for $249 a box for 3 autographs per box, unlicensed. $249 a box. They're sold out everywhere, and they're pre-selling for like $350 a box on eBay. I know that you two probably want to talk a little bit about this. I was a little shocked at the price of $250 for an unlicensed product, but EP's thoughts are going to be really interesting because he loves tops, but he hates unlicensed. So
And he hates spending money.
And he hates spending money. So I'll throw it to you though, EP. I want to hear your thoughts on this product.
All right. Well, first off, Topps Series 1 or not Topps Chrome baseball licensed with 2 autos per box is like $250 a box. So that's right in line with that. There are I mean, and they are, I realize it's unlicensed, but they are selling these autographs of these quarterbacks that
How much was
they
Topps
want to have.
Chrome baseball last year? Do you know?
I don't remember. It was probably less than 250. It's probably maybe
Okay,
200. I
that's
want to say probably 200.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd say probably 200, but I can't remember. I have to look that up. But anyhow, when I heard about this is a product I should love. It's got Finest in it. It's got Topps Chrome in it. Like that should be super excited about it. The photos look fake because they're airbrushed. They're unlicensed. They airbrush the logos and stuff off there. So it is not something that I would want to purchase. And one of my thoughts after they're texting, and like we have a lot of time through the week where we're texting these stories to each other, and like we're save for the
talk
podcast.
About it.
Yep, save for the show. And I came to the realization that my purchasing of ultra modern stuff of any kind is probably going to stop. Like there's something coming up next year. There's something coming up next year that I'll be buying, but the prices are so outrageous, and you're not going to get your money back on most of it. And there are plenty of super cheap, really cool stuff from back in the 90s that I can buy. And if I really need to get that, satisfy that itch to crack something, I can rip that stuff and have a blast and not spend $250 or $350 aftermarket, $350 for unlicensed. In my opinion, not good. I mean, the Panini baseball stuff, it's unlicensed. I just can't stand it. They look like fake photos.
I love
and that's
the
what I see when I see that
consistency.
stuff.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with that.
There's 0% chance that I will buy this product, and I can't see myself even getting any singles or anything like that. I just I wouldn't like it. So yeah, there we go.
I respect that opinion, and I want to point out here to people watching, there are very, very few people on YouTube that used to have that opinion that still have it now that Topps is putting out an unlicensed product. So funny how they've changed their tone, but EP, Mr. Consistent down there. I like that. Now, Joe,
I will say 2 segments ago, EP had his face on a Topps card. It's gotten taken away. Dude, it's gone. It's like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future with the picture.
They probably airbrush off my Mike's t-shirt. They probably airbrush it
totally
off. Didn't see it.
They totally would. I'll tell you what. I am thinking that I'm going to buy a ton of this product because I've opened up a pack of Topps Big League and autograph in every pack. So I have
guaranteed.
to assume that that's how it's going to be. Joking
No,
aside,
you only have to buy 3 packs. And you'll get all 3 of the autos.
Okay, perfect. I am check. No, joking aside, number one, it's like I tried to find a price for Chronicles football. If someone knows the price of Chronicles football from not the aftermarket price, the price from Panini from the last couple of years, if someone knows that, please comment down below. I'm thinking, though, if it's $250 now, what's it going to be in a year? Because that's when they have the licenses, right? So if it's $250 a box now with airbrushed uniforms, how much are they going to charge for this product, which isn't even Topps Chrome, right? Like this is a Topps Composite. This is Chronicles. Like if they're charging $250 for that, yikes, right? Like that's it's going to be through the roof, and people are going to buy it. They are going to buy it. It's just going to happen. EP may be the consistent one for sure and not, but this shit sold out. The stuff next year is going to sell out. Card collectors cannot not get their fix, and they're going to keep buying this stuff. For me, this year, just buy some Leaf metal or something, right? Like, what's the difference? What's the difference? If CJ Stroud signs for both, why would you spend double, sometimes triple the money for a product that is just as licensed as Leaf products are? I don't understand it at all. And I have to be consistent. I throw Fanatics under the bus. The year of our Lord 2024, they're releasing 2023 products. Panini has been doing that for years. So this is not anything new, and it's ridiculous too. Like, this isn't the worst because like Flawless hasn't come out yet from last year. So God only knows when Panini Flawless is going to be released for 2023, but this is bad. Like, I understand there's some, like, we keep using COVID as the excuse for shit like this happening. This has been happening for years. 2018 Prism came out in 2019. Like, it just needs to stop. Like, try and keep it before the next draft. That's all I ask. I don't think it would be ridiculous to have something come out in March. Just get it before the next draft class gets drafted. And the next draft class got drafted 3 months ago. Like, what are we doing here? Come on, people.
Well, you're doing it because you can say that they're a rookie card if they're 2023,
right?
Even though it's, after the draft in 2024. You're just manipulating that. It's funny that you have 2023 football coming out after you have multiple 2024 baseball sets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Like, you've been telling us how you're going to do better than the company that had everything, and you're just doing it the same. Shocker.
No, they're making better money. They're 10x
in their profit.
Either definition of better is different than our definition of better.
And I assume, Mike, all of these is very much different definition. I assume all of these autos are on card as well, right?
I'm gonna guess no.
Okay. All the relics though that come in, I guess, are all game used, right?
No,
I think it's more likely that they would be. There's a lot of top stuff that is game used, like even
and we've had a full year of football for some of these players, so they should be able to get their jerseys.
They should.
Should.
It's crazy.
No, it is crazy, and I don't even know where to go. All I know is you can buy a box of 2001 Topps Fusion baseball for like a little over $100. So maybe that's the play here.
That's where I'm living, man.
Get, I think, one autograph per box out of that. But
what do you guys think? Joking aside, this product in a year with all the licenses, with a pretty good quarterback class, right? Like, 4 quarterbacks taken in the first 5 picks or whatever it was. What do you think this product cost a year from now when they have the licenses? They do have it a year from now, right?
I think 2026 will be the first.
It'll be the first year. So I guess 2 years from now, if we're still all alive and doing this show, what do we think? Mark it down, however you do that on YouTube. Like, let's snip this or whatever. What do we think that this product would be in 2026? No competition from Panini.
$400, $399. I think it'll be
$399.
Yeah.
If it was next year, I'd say the same price, but you're talking 2 years down the line. I think there's a similar price. There's going to be incremental increases. So I wanted to be
$299 for this next year, probably. Yeah.
Right. And then 300 and then 350 by 2026, something like that. So I would say 350, but I would not be surprised if it came in 400, which is again why I kept reading the tea leaves. That's why I'm going to be buying that 2001 Fusion baseball instead of buying this stuff.
It sold out for him too. So
and exactly to EP's point, our definitions of success or whatever are very different. That's why I'm sticking with non-sports, boys. I opened up a case for $2,700. Like, that's 12 boxes. And the comic book card people were like, oh my God, that's so expensive. No, it's not. I couldn't get 3 boxes of Prism basketball for $2,700 right now. Yeah. $2,700. And guess what? I made my money back and had some really, really cool cards. So like, I'm with you, EP. I probably won't be buying any of Fanatics products until they take over the Marvel license, which then I definitely won't. But yeah, the non-sports stuff is, for me, the way to go. It's more fulfilling.
Definitely is a little more fun, and you get more back for what you pay. All right, I have one little update on the PSA vending machine in Vegas.
The story that won't end.
It won't end.
The stupid little boxes.
This little box has consumed so much time of our lives.
Well, in case people are wondering, and I know you are, it's still there. It is still there and still looks the same. All the PSA all over it still comes in a PSA box.
Does it still have the Charizard?
And
our card's still coming out of it?
Yes, and apparently it must be becoming pretty popular because the sports cards are now $100 to get. They were $75 before. I saw a lot of content creators saying they were $50, but if you looked at the screen, Pokemon was $50 and the sports cards were $75, but they are now $100 and the Pokemon was sold out. So people are taking their chance on this. I saw another video. I'm sorry, I forgot to write down the name, but posted a video. He got a collector's choice PSA 10 Ken Griffey Jr. card that was worth like $20 for yes.
Oh my gosh.
For his $100 that he put into the machine. So
well, they would have known because they released a checklist, right? I'm sure there's a checklist.
I'm sure there is somewhere. If you look at the sell sheet, it's probably
so, yeah. Call back.
You said the box looks the same. Did somebody like go with a marker and scratch out the 75 and write 100? Like did they redo
the machine?
Did they redo the machine?
No, it's
only
just
changed
that
$100
electronic part. So like they just
changed
the price on there. Yeah, but prices are going up. So
do they still have the fake Charizard? Did they scratch out the numbers?
No, everything's still there. We got to get our hands on one of those machines. Imagine
print money. They're printing money.
We could put whatever we wanted to in it, and people would still buy it, and they'd buy it continuously. Well, yeah, I might have gotten 4 1991 Fleer cards in a row, but that next one, that'll be the one.
We got to get one and set it up as a mall show. The Susquehanna Valley Mall Show. Man,
people would love it.
It's the perfect intersection of the two things that are consuming the hobby right now: gambling and grading. Like, it's just bam, like the perfect way to do it.
And ripping people off.
Yeah. Speaking of all of those things,
Trinity.
I was watching Blez Pop. I guess it's Blez, and they have their own because they were ripping Fleer Ultra Wolverine. I want to see some of the hits that come out. They were asking people, oh, hey, do you want this? They were encouraging people to put some of these cards aside to be graded. And I'm not talking the medallions and the jambalayas. I'm talking like the green foil parallels, which are 1 per pack. And they're like, oh, this one looks really good. You might. And I'm like, stop. Because what happens is the people that watch Blez Sports are buying into this because they must watch my video. They heard, right? I was waiting for it, so I beat you to the punch. They heard about this and they're buying into these breaks of Fleer Ultra Wolverine, but their mentality is still to grade everything because they come from the sports card world, and the Blez people are just feeding into that because they probably get a deal with PSA. So they charge you $12 and PSA only charges them $10 or whatever. So they're making money off of you dumbly, whatever word, stupidly, I guess is probably the actual word, stupidly sending these base and parallels that are simple to get off to get graded. Like, stop. This is the downfall of Western civilization. I thought it was Facebook. Now it's this.
PSA grading.
Now it's this. Yep. At first it was social media, Facebook. Nope. Now it's PSA grading. Yep.
Well, all I hear is jealousy because you didn't think about doing that when you were ripping all those boxes.
You're pretty
right.
All right, guys. Well, hey, everybody that's going to the National, if you see us, say hi. But
follow us on the socials and get at us and
let us know.
We'll get a beer night together or something. We'll definitely be at a bar.
Sounds
good. I'm sure.
Probably,
definitely.
Right?
You see,
all right,
guys.
guys.
One of these shirts walking around. It's probably us.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I got one here.
Mine's packed. I already did my pack.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, that checks out. Yeah, you're ready to be
of
packed.
Course,
you're ready already. Of course. All right, guys. That was a fun chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.